Hi, I'm Jen Simmons, and I'm here to talk about how the new Safari impacts web design and development. If you're a web designer, a web developer, or have any role involved in making a website or a web app, this session is for you. This is a huge year for Safari. In this session, we're going to focus on the visual or interaction design impact of the changes in Safari. Safari has an all-new design. By default, your website's going to look great, but if you want to go the extra mile, this session will empower you to make your work really shine in the new Safari. We'll talk about a few of the great new features in macOS, iOS, and iPadOS and how they'll impact the web. We'll cover what's new in CSS, including my favorite, the new aspect ratio property. And we'll take a look at form controls we've newly implemented, and a whole new look for forms on iOS and iPadOS. Let's start with the design of the browser itself. Since very early in the evolution of the web browser, most of the browsers we've used have had a few fundamental things in common. There's a very tall toolbar at the top with a slot for the URL that's on its own line. And the website stays inside this space, this portal to the web, the viewport. Of course, as users, we've trained ourselves to put all of our focus on the website that we're using. But for years, the browser itself has maintained a strong visual presence. No matter how a website is designed to look and feel, the browser interface framed that design and dominated it. What if we could get rid of that frame and extend the design of the website to every edge of the window? Well, that's what we've done in Safari 15. This year, we've reimagined the browsing experience as we know it. We're putting all the focus on the web content. The new Safari blends the tab bar into each website by changing its background color. The entire interface is on one line, and things naturally appear when needed. This makes your content feel more expansive. Each web page or web app takes over, extending to all four edges of the window. The browser interface yields to the content. So what determines which color is used for the background of the toolbar? As a web designer or developer, you can choose the color and code that choice into your HTML. For sites that don't provide a color, Safari will figure out a color to use. Sometimes Safari matches the background color of the web page, other times it matches the header background. To provide your choice for the toolbar color, put it in the HTML head using a meta tag with name equals theme color, and use the content attribute to specify the color. By providing this information in the HTML head, Safari will get it immediately on page load. It's also declarative code. It's very simple to use. You can support both light and dark mode by setting two colors. Yes, now you can add media attributes to meta tags. In this case, media equals prefers color scheme light in the first meta tag and prefers color scheme dark in the second. This is a new addition to the HTML specification that we proposed this spring. It gives us a simple, robust way to hook into which color scheme the user has asked for. In browsers that do support name equals theme color but don't yet support using the media attribute on meta tags, those browsers will use the first theme color declaration and ignore the rest. So put your fallback first, not last the way you do in CSS. Even if your site doesn't have a whole design for dark mode, you might want to set your own color for the tab bar when the device is in dark mode. If the one color you've specified is too light, Safari will make adjustments in order to give the user the dark mode experience that they've asked for. Instead of defining the theme color on the HTML head, you can define it in a web manifest file. If you specify it in both places, the color in the HTML head is the one that's used. And right now in June of 2021, there's not yet a way to define multiple colors for light and dark modes in a web manifest file. There's discussion happening in the working group right now to figure that out. There's also a very narrow range of colors that Safari isn't going to apply. Colors really that would totally get in the way of the user's experience, maybe making it inaccessible. For these, Safari will do something else, like here, changing this site's tab bar to white. If the color that you've chosen doesn't seem to be working, just try adjusting a bit. If you'd like, you can set the theme color to be different on different parts of your website. Each separate HTML page has its own head. Or you can use JavaScript to swap out the theme color dynamically in reaction to a user's behavior. Think through ways that your design can blend the tab bars seamlessly into your site. That's how you can create a feeling of your website or web app filling the whole window in Safari 15 on macOS and Safari for iPadOS and iOS 15.